Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Scott, and you have turned into, well, this is the Rookie Wine and Whiskey Enthusiast channel, but it's a little bit different. This is a special edition that I'm going to go ahead and discuss what's going on with my channel and what I think is going to be the way forward. So please stay tuned. I'm drinking Redbreast 12-year-old cask strength. We're going to go ahead and maybe do a little discussion of that as well. But anyways, stay tuned, folks. Alright, as I said, you've tuned into the Rookie Wine and Whiskey Enthusiast channel, typically where we go ahead and discuss things like Washington State wines, Washington State spirits, and bourbon and whiskey, but not exclusively. And today, with everything that's going on, I'm in my shop today. I'm doing a shop clean. One of the reasons is I have a major remodel going on just on the opposite side of the door here. But my shop really is kind of one of my places where I go to get away from it. One of my hobbies has always been restoring old axes and knives, and to some extent making some new knives, which I've done a few of. But I have kind of gotten away from that recently. Anyways, the reason for this whole video today is with the situation going on in the world, the coronavirus, people self-isolating, a YouTuber that I follow says to make sure to self-distance, don't self-isolate. And I really take that to heart. But I have a small channel, and some things have come to light that I think are important that we go ahead and discuss. First of all, if you do like this channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon as well. That way, after you do subscribe, if you do hit the bell icon, if you like this type of content, you'll be notified that I'm going ahead and uploaded something. So that being said, let's go first and foremost. The discussion that I wanted to mostly talk about was changes to my particular channel. I drive truck for a living. My wife is in the mortgage industry. And even though my job is essential and her job is essential, things are going to be changing a little bit. I really have for the last 6-7 months, I've really tried to produce 2 videos a week. One spirits and whiskeys based and the other wine based. And it's gotten to the point now where, as much as I love doing it and I love the challenge of producing these videos, financially, things are becoming more and more uncertain. And I am going to do my best to produce at the very least 1 video a week. But I also cannot continue purchasing the wines that I want, the spirits that I want, as that's going to put my family into unnecessary financial expenditures, for lack of a better phrase. And even though I now currently have a job and my wife does, things aren't certain. We don't know what's going to happen next week. We don't know what's going to happen a month from now. We don't know what's going to happen, 3 months from now. Nobody in any level of government seems to have a plan as to when to get the economy back together. Obviously, everybody's concern is the loved ones, and especially those that are really susceptible to the coronavirus. We want to make sure that they stay safe. But at the same time, without a plan as to get the economy back together and up and running, what is it? At the end of this last week, unemployment numbers here in the United States were at 10 million. This is unprecedented. And like I said, I can't in good conscience try to keep up with some of these other YouTube channels that are, they're putting out multiple content. And if they can go ahead and afford those extra bottles and things like that, God bless them. I'm not going to tell them not to do that. I just can't. And I know that's going to hurt my channel, but as of right now, I have to do what's best for my family. So like I said, I'm going to try to do 1 video a week. I don't know if it's going to be a whiskey. I don't know if it's going to be a spirit. I don't know if it's going to be a wine. More than likely, it will probably remain wine. But I do have a lot of spirits that I would love to review for you guys because, well, a lot of these craft distilleries here, especially here in the state of Washington, they're producing excellent stuff. And I want to make sure to bring that content to you as well as the Washington State wine industry, which, by the way, has taken a huge hit. First weekend in May is typically spring release for the wineries here in the state of Washington, especially in the Walla Walla region, and everybody's shut down. So, anyways, so that's the first thing. Second thing is let me go ahead and have a sip of this. By the way, I am drinking. I have now 2 bottles of this Redbreast 12-year-old cask strength. A friend of mine, Bill, he's a big bourbon guy. Based on the recommendation of a whole lot of people, he really did try to enjoy the Redbreast. He's just not into a whole lot of malt flavor. So, Bill, thank you very much for this particular bottle. This is probably a bottle that's going to stay down here in my shop. So, this is one of my top 3 personal whiskeys that I absolutely enjoy. So, it's just down here. I'm going to make sure not to get any metal dust into it. That brings me to my second point. And this is something that when I first saw on the news, I kind of chuckled at it. And then I really took a look at my own particular situation. Now, like I said, I'm still working, but I know there's a lot of people out there that may be watching this that have to stay at home. You're either working at home or you've lost your job. And in the news recently, especially here in the United States, alcohol sales are up and alcohol consumption is up. Even though the bars are closed, nightclubs are closed, alcohol consumption is going through the roof. I believe I've seen numbers anywhere ranging from sales are up 30 to 40% and alcohol consumption is up anywhere from 40 to 50%. Whenever there's been an economic downturn, it doesn't matter if it was I believe there was a depression, what was it, the 1890s, and then there was another depression, obviously the Great Depression, that raged on from basically 29 through the 30s. Then you had the economic downturn between and the great oil crisis there in the 70s. Obviously, then you had the financial downturn in 2008, and now this. Whenever there's been a financial downturn worldwide, people have turned to alcohol. And this is something that over the last 2 weeks, to be honest with you, my alcohol consumption's gone up as well. I'm not going to lie. I was joking in a group, between my wife and I and a couple of friends, who we were all social distancing, but yes, we still got together. We killed almost 6 bottles of wine this week, and I mixed in with some of that. I had some gin and mineral water last night, and I'm having a small sip of Irish whiskey now. And what I'm concerned about is that channels like mine, without acknowledging it, and this is what I'm trying to do today, is I'm trying to acknowledge the fact that I don't want to contribute to somebody else's overindulgence. And I can't tell you not to overindulge, and I'm asking other YouTubers to at least put this message out as well. Please don't take our enthusiasm for these spirits as a reason to overindulge yourself. You have great Facebook groups out there, the WBSE group, the Whiskey Tribe. Those are 2 of the largest groups that I know of. There's other groups that are smaller, local groups here in the state of Washington. I'm sure every state has their own little whiskey or wine group. What I'm asking is that my fellow YouTubers acknowledge the fact that we might be aiding the problem, and at least remind all of our viewers, those that do enjoy a spirit every once in a while, to not overindulge. I like to end the show with, life is too short for either bad wine or bad whiskey, but I also like to say, please be responsible as you're drinking. And with the downturn that's out there, people are going to turn more towards spirits. and more towards beer, more towards wine to deal with some of the stresses in your life. And I'm asking you to please be careful. It is not a substitute for your family. It is not a substitute for some of the pain that you might be going through. And you may think that it's helping dull your pain, but what it really is doing is it is making it so that you don't confront your pain. So that being said, please, as we go through this, just remember there are people out there that do love you. I had somebody who I grew up with. I just was told the other day that he had passed. Army veteran, and he was in the Special Forces. But when he came back, his dad actually was somebody who trained me in high school to box in Golden Gloves. And drugs and alcohol got the better of him. PTSD, and depression, and he overdosed and was on life support, and his family had to make the decision to pull him off. So that's just from PTSD being in war, and there's going to be a whole lot of different stresses now. So please, as always, don't reach for the alcohol just to dull the pain. It's there to enjoy. It's there to flavor. Enjoy the flavors. It's there to help with socializing and get together. And once we are able to all get together again, raise a glass and cheer the fact that we're getting through this. But anyways, I just wanted to make this short little video to let everybody know what's happening with my channel. I'm going to get back to my shop here and get things cleaned up and organized so that I can go ahead and get back to doing things that with my family that are much more important than spirits and wine. Even though my wife and I do enjoy going wine tasting, it's one of the things we've grown closer together as a husband and wife, over the last 5 or 6 years. We love doing. So, as always, again, please drink responsibly, folks. Life is too short for either bad wine or bad whiskey. 2020 has come in like a giant dumpster fire. Let's all make it out through safely. Let's not add to the dumpster fire in our personal lives. Cheers.